everyone, it's Shell from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be making this Dutch door interactive fold card, and it's made from a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored down the middle, so it is a typical A2 size card. And then what you're going to do is place it into your scoring board and take from the top of the card and score down to the score line right down the center, so that would be at 2 3/4. Then you're going to place it into your paper trimmer or use a craft knife and a ruler, and you're going to cut that top rectangle out. That's going to create the focal point for the front of this card, like you see me doing here. And you can see that I couldn't cut the corner out. I didn't get it exactly perfect, so I'm just taking my scissors and trimming it down. You can also use your scissors to cut out that top. So I'm going to take that piece and trim it down a little bit. I used 110-pound cardstock from Recollections, and there was a little lip on it, and I didn't like the way that looked. The next step is to stamp the focal image, which is this cute mouse popping out of a cake from the MFT Sweet Surprise stamp set. We're going to stamp it onto the piece of gray cardstock that we cut off of the front of the card base. And we're going to use some Catherine Pooler ink. Put it into the Misty because I want to be able to stamp it multiple times. I've never used this stamp set before, so when that happens, I generally tend to stamp the stamp down several times to get a good impression. I'm also going to be using the eraser from a dry erase board just to put a little bit of a pressure onto the image. I did have to stamp it multiple times. I don't know if it's the ink is dry or it's just because it's a new stamp, but I like the way that it came out. So you'll see that is the final stamped image, and now we're going to use the Prismacolor colored pencils to color it in. I didn't do anything fancy here, and I left just a little bit of the coloring in. Just picking up a couple different shades of gray and trying to make it look like the mouse has fur. I'm not great with coloring. You definitely don't want to learn coloring from me. I just do what I feel looks right, and I'm just going back and forth, pulling out. First I start with the lightest color and I color the whole thing, and then I start moving to the darker colors and I will color in smaller sections. I am going to go back over this after this is done and actually use my eraser. I feel like it gives a little bit of texture if I start erasing some of it, and I liked the way that it came out. I wasn't thrilled with my coloring, so I did go back over it and erase it. I hope that you guys are enjoying my fun fold series. I didn't really mean to start a fun fold series, but a couple of my friends are telling me that that's kind of what I'm known for now. So I figured I'd lean into it and make another one. I will keep making them as long as I can keep coming up with fun fold card ideas. So I hope that you guys are enjoying it. Let me know down in the comments. Next thing I'm going to do is take my eraser and just erase some of the dark colors. I put a little bit too much color down, and also you see I'm pulling the eraser down, which is giving it a little bit of texture to make it look like fur. So once I have what I think looks okay, I'm going to go back in with some of the colored pencils and just kind of fill in some areas that maybe I erased a little bit too much for. But that's all the coloring you're going to see here. Again, don't follow me for coloring. I'm not great at that. So the next thing we're going to do is work on the background. So this is the Big Balloon stencils from MFT, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxide on black cardstock. This first one is Wilted Violet, and we're going to be creating the background for the card. You're going to be able to see this behind the Dutch door piece. So I wanted something with a little bit of interest, and I thought creating my own background would be a lot of fun. So that was Wilted Violet, and the next color that we're going to be using is Mermaid Lagoon, which is a bright blue, and Distress Oxides don't show up as vibrant on black cardstock, but what's great about them is that you can actually see them on there, unlike most inks which you can't see on black cardstock. So I'm going to just create my own background with the couple of different balloons that are on the stencil. This is great for building a background or adding just 1 or 2 balloons to your existing card, or even an envelope, decorating an envelope, because there are all different size balloons, so you can create pretty much any size balloon that you would like. So Wilted Violet, Mermaid Lagoon, and now we're going to be doing Picked Raspberry. And I'm just using some scrap cardstock, and that's actually, the top piece is actually a pool from a gel plate that I did, that I just had lying around, just to mask off some of the other balloons, just so that I didn't get any distress oxide in places that I didn't want it. And I didn't put any pixie spray or use any washi tape on my stencil, besides that piece that was blocking something off. I didn't feel like I needed it. I probably should have. We're going to now use tumbled glass to create a balloon at the top, that tall, skinny one. And I believe we're going to use it to do another balloon as well. Yes, we're going to use on the bottom left, just because I felt like there was only, I'm sorry, I didn't do it on the bottom left, I did it on the bottom right. Just because I felt like there was only a tiny bit of that tumbled glass, and that one showed up really, really well. It seems that the lighter colors show up really, really well on the black cardstock. So I thought I needed another partial balloon in that tumbled glass. It almost looks like a clear balloon. And now we're going to be using the Wilted Violet again on the bottom. I decided to just pull that back out and create another balloon in the Wilted Violet color. So after this, we're going to take my white gel pen and start to just put highlights on a couple of the balloons in places where they would be, just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And I don't know whether it was because the Distress Oxide maybe wasn't fully dry, or maybe this is just the way the Jelly Roll pens work, but it kind of took on the color underneath of the balloon, like the color of the balloon. So I'm sorry, so we're going back in with some picked raspberry to do that last part of a balloon. Oh, I believe I actually just take my brush and then just go over that little piece. And it's actually pretty easy to buff out that mistake. You really don't notice it there. So now we're going back in with the gel pen to add the highlights in. And this is where you'll see it kind of takes on a little bit of the purple hue. But it's also handmade. It's not perfect. You probably could use a Posca pen or some white paint here. You could even probably use white Distress Oxide, I don't know, or Distress ink, or even any pigment ink. And you could, probably get a really, really good white, true white impression. But that doesn't bother me. Now I'm using my Be Creative Honeybee glue to glue that back panel down, and you'll be able to see how the card comes together. There's the door, and I glued a piece of black cardstock to the panel. You can see that I colored it in. I used some glossy accents on some of the balloons. Now I'm putting the Be Creative glue just on the bottom, because if you put it on the top, then it's going to stick to the inside of your card, wiping off the excess glue, and I think it looks super, super cute. So that is the Dutch fold door. And the last thing that we're going to do is take the MFT Party Penguins stamp set and use the sentiment and stamp it in the Versafine black ink. And I'm going to be brave and just use a regular block to stamp the Happy Birthday to You on the front. And because it was in Versafine, it stamped very, very clear. So that's the card. Here's some up-close pictures of it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and learning a new fun fold. Let me know below in the comments if you like it, if you like this series, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.